In the book, The Collapse of American Criminal Justice, the author William J. Stuntz argues that the prosecutional process is a key factor in the failures of the American criminal justice system. In Chapter 3, he highlights how a vast number of substantive laws give prosecutors excessive power, which basically allows them to specific or selectively charge individuals and coerce certain pleas or bargains. As a result of this, justice becomes inconsistent in most cases and often reflects As a result, justice becomes inconsistent and often reflects systemic biases rather than fair legal outcomes. Stuntz talks about how trials are expensive and time-consuming, so prosecutors leverage these extensive laws in order to pressure defendants into plea bargains, ensuring high conviction rates, which allows the scrutiny of the full trial without allowing that. Plea bargains can make it a lot faster and a lot quicker when a certain suspect or criminal just takes a deal instead of forcing the criminal justice system to go through an entire case and pay for lawyers and prosecutors and stuff like that. But the problem with this is the imbalance oftentimes affects the marginalized communities, who often lack the resources to challenge unfair charges, which is where you get stuck with a public defender and you're not able to pay for your lawyer fees or things like that. I agree with Stunt's case that America has too many substantive laws and that prosecutors use them strategically in order to secure convictions. The broad scope of criminal statuses creates a situation where nearly any action can be criminalized, which basically gives prosecutors the ability to threaten not only harsher charges, but harsher penalties but gives them a wider range of things that they will try to do in order to get the defendant to accept a plea deal. This specific dynamic undermines the fundamental principle of justice by basically prioritizing efficiency over fairness. Looking at the articles such as A Look at African American History, it discusses examples of prosecutorial discretion and the plea bargaining system. Discussions of mass incarceration often highlight how aggressive strategies contribute to high incarceration rates, such as bending the truth as to what another suspect said, or just plain out lying in order to get the suspect to take a plea deal. Looking at Michelle Alexander's The New Jim Crow, this supports Stuntz's argument by showing how the war on drugs expanded prosecutional power, leading to disproportionate sentencing and systemic racial disparities. While it is possible that you could argue that plea bargaining is necessary for managing court caseloads, the current reliance on it suggests a deeper systemic failure. Like, if it was just sometimes used and proven to be right and fair, I can agree that it should be explored more and used more in the field of law. But just based on its track record and the amount of times it's failed in the past, it cannot be seen as a successful strategy in order to get criminals to confess or just simply charged. Instead of addressing crime through a fair and balanced trial system, the justice system has evolved into a conviction machine driven by efficiency rather than the exact principles of justice. So morals being taken out of it is simply based on wanting to lock someone up for a specific crime, whether that person did the act or they did not. Just based on what the prosecutor sees and what he understands, he's going to try to pursue a case based on this logic. Sources used were A Look at African American History Through the Numbers, A Better Approach to Violent Crime, and Michelle Alexander's The New Jim Crow.